I don't even know what the fuck there's to say about this goddamn movie.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Film Fumblers podcast. Today we're going to be talking about Lion King, the remake from 2019. I'm Adrian.
I'm Jay.
James.
And I'm Taryn.
All right, guys. So I have a little bit of an intro for this one. So all of you, we're all familiar with the Uncanny Valley, right?
The what?
The Uncanny Valley, what that is?
Yes.
No?
No? Okay. So the Uncanny Valley, I think it's more often with humans, but basically it's like CG humans that just you can look at them and they're like, yeah, that looks kind of real, but they have like these soulless eyes and it just makes you uncomfortable. Think of like Polar Express. Is that the movie? Polar Express?
Beowulf is a good one.
That's another one.
It's like you can't tell if it's real or fake, and it's really disturbing.
Uncanny.
Okay. That makes sense.
But I want to talk about it because I don't feel like I got that from this movie. And I think maybe it's because they're animals, but I mean, let's start on a positive note. I didn't feel that at all. How did you guys... Was it uncomfortable looking at everything, or how did you feel about it?
I think it looked okay. Yeah.
I think this is like a whole different other thing, but it was a little uncanny just because I think that the sound leveling was kind of bad.
What I did notice is that, and I don't know if it was the sound or what they looked like, but I started to get kind of a headache watching these realistic, like they look straight up like, National Geographic lions talk. I don't know what it was. It just started making my head hurt.
Yeah, no. So what was interesting, one of the first scenes when Mufasa and Scar are talking, I don't know. I feel like both of their voices, more so in the beginning, it just felt like really like bassy and like reverberated. Like it felt like I was listening to a recording studio. Like it just didn't feel real. And I was like,
could have been your theater,
that was my
though.
problem.
oh, maybe. But it didn't continue though. It didn't go on throughout the movie. It was like
Yes, it was in the beginning.
Oh.
The sound leveling was bad in the beginning of the movie, I thought
Yeah.
too. And then
You mean like certain things were more quiet than others kind of thing?
No, like straight up, it was like Mufasa, Scar. Like it was just like too like I just heard the vibrations like too much. I don't know how to describe it other than that.
I feel
Yeah,
like
it did-
that's
it
just
didn't
how
feel like-
It's the same. Sorry. James Earl Jones. I feel like that's just how he sounds, though. I felt that only in his voice because I feel like he just sounds like that.
But the voices didn't match their environments. That was what was bad about the sound quality in the beginning. I don't know if it got better later, but someone's voice doesn't sound like that
Yeah.
in the fucking open wide of the jungle.
yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? So it just made it unnatural to me.
Well, even in like the shots where they were in caves, it was like they tried really hard to make it sound like a cave, And it wouldn't always play by its own rules. Like there was times where like Scar would yell into the cave and it would be like super reverberated. But if they're just talking, then it was like just a little bit, But I don't know, it was kind of weird.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't know if I just got used to it as the movie went on, and that's why I just noticed in the beginning. But I swear that opening scene, anyway, we're beating a dead horse here, but yeah.
Speaking of like the uncanny stuff, I guess, what do you guys think of like just how the characters looked and how their mouths moved and things like that?
So I saw the best article from The Onion. Is John Oliver annoyed after discovering he's the only non-CGI character in Lion King remake? Oh god, that was so great.
Wow.
I remember you guys before I went in. I remember hearing about the like quote unquote emotionless faces. I didn't feel it that I was looking for it, and I didn't feel it too much. But I get it. I mean, it's not a cartoon,
Yeah, see, I thought it was gonna be way worse than it was. Like
Yeah.
they still didn't really have emotions, but like it was mostly in like their eyes that they did that with, and worked for the most part, I thought, which was surprising.
Yeah, I thought like well, okay, I didn't really pay attention to the faces and like emotions. I mean, I guess I kind of figure that if you're doing animals like photorealistic, you probably don't really know what that looks like. But the way that they would move and like how they would get up from sitting and all that stuff was like super on point. I thought it like they would
Oh,
get
yeah.
even the little mannerisms that the animals have, they would get.
Dude, the detail was insane. Like Scar's ear would twitch like so much, and like it just looked so good.
Yeah, just how cats and horses do, like, you know, like they just flick, like they're flicking
Yeah.
buttons or whatever it is.
Mhm.
And they totally nailed that. And maybe like when they started, you know, realizing, oh, these like animals have emotion that we're writing, but I've never seen a lion like smile or cry or whatever, it gets kind of difficult, I guess. And maybe that's what breaks the barrier of it feeling super real. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's interesting when we talk about like animals experiencing emotions. Like, for example, like look at a sloth. Like sloths always have like that like cute like dumb smile. It looks like, but it's just like
Mhm.
the way their faces are. Like they're not necessarily always just smiling. And so I think just as humans, we like just attribute these emotions to animals, maybe unrightfully so. So like we're doing, I don't know, it's hard to put that into a movie when you're you know, making it like in CG.
Yeah, I mean, the way they would their mouths would move when they were talking like a lot, but it wasn't like too much. I was
Mhm.
like, if they're gonna do that, I thought they would do a little bit more to like their faces, but I don't know.
I think another thing that the photorealism kind of, and it wasn't like bad or anything, but just because of the nature of it, and then comparing it to the cartoon, which I don't know if you guys watched the original before this. I know I did, and in this one, it's kind of hard to tell, like in some darker shots when there's Mufasa and Scar, who is who,
Yeah.
because
Oh,
they're
yeah.
both kind of photorealistic, and Scar's details are so like, I don't want to say subtle, but they're not outright. And it's the original, it's like Scar is a completely different color than all the rest of the lions. On
Right.
top of that, like his scar is always super visible. He's got those green eyes or whatever they are. You know it's him.
Yeah, the
But here it's
contrast is
like, exactly, it's harder to make sense of it.
Yeah, they made him a little bit more beat up and skinny and stuff. I guess
Oh
that
yeah, he
was-
looked messed up, dude.
He definitely looked like he looked badass.
Yeah.
But if I just saw him in a shot, I wouldn't really be able to be like, that's 100% Scar. Same thing with all the female like lions.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I could not tell. I was like, is that Beyonce? No, is that Beyonce? I was like, who is
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was pretty bad.
the
yeah,
hyenas too? Could not
Yeah.
tell them apart.
I think the scene that did that for me the most, Jay, was that the last scene, the fight with Simba and Mufasa, where it's really dark. There's just like the lightning and the
Exactly.
fire, and you're like, okay, somebody's winning. I don't know.
You mean
Yeah.
Simba?
Yeah, I said Simba,
Simba.
right? Simba and
You said
Mufasa.
Mufasa, but it's okay.
Oh,
Scar.
Simba and Scar. My bad. Simba and Scar.
Yeah. And like this is one of those things where it's like this is not to detract from the quality of the effects. They were amazing. But it's just a byproduct that probably nobody really thought of.
Yeah.
I mean, you're already chasing this really amazing effects and everything's looking awesome. Everybody's probably excited. You're not going to be like, wait, you can't really tell anyone apart.
Yeah, I just wonder if they turned up like the saturation or like something. So it felt like a lot of the environments and characters were like similar colors, and that kind of helped in making it hard to read.
Yeah. But it all looked great. I mean, you know, you thought they were shooting on site and everything. It's like
Yeah.
we've come a long ass way for visual effects.
Yeah, it might be a dumb question, but the entirety was CGI, right? Like the
Yeah. So do you guys know how they filmed it? Like how it was directed and stuff?
I don't know.
So Jon Favreau, who directed it, basically was wearing a VR headset and was just literally like on his knees and like standing up and looking around with his head, like basically being the camera himself. It's pretty funny to see.
Really?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So it's just weird, like how much. I wonder how much he actually like did. Like not to like take away from him, but like there was a lot of shots that were just straight up recreations of the original one. So it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell what exactly he brought to the movie. Specific.
It definitely felt like very, very much like the same movie. And I was reading that like apparently a lot of people said that after the trailer, and they were like, no, like there's a lot of scenes that we can't not have. They're too iconic, whatever, which I get. But it kind of didn't feel like, and then they were like, well, and the rest of it will be new and it's longer. And I'm like, it was long and it felt long, which was kind of annoying. Like the beginning felt really long.
Yeah. It got long. And the long parts, well, the parts that they added, that's like one of my gripes.
So I haven't seen the original in a long time. What
Me neither.
exactly was brand new?
The whole Simba's hair getting eaten by a giraffe, and then the dung beetle pushing his shit all the way up to Rafiki's house.
How did he know in the original?
It just fucking flew to him in the fucking in the air, and they should have just left it, because who fucking needed to see all that other shit?
Exactly,
No one did.
Dude.
It was kind of interesting, I guess, but the movie was long.
It just made it feel
long.
like it was the distance was huge. Like how far Simba got away, you know what I mean? Like it didn't feel like he was just over that hill and he was just chilling, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
What I got
like,
out of it.
There's mysticism about it, you know. It's got a little bit of magic in the in the original movie, you know. They try to make it like too realistic, like, you know.
And like, so they tried to make it like funny or bearable with it being, it's a piece of shit, but like it was still too long.
Dude, the dung beetle, I was like, where is this going? I thought it was just a transition, and then when it broke and it came, I was like, oh my god, this is still going.
Like, I know. I thought the hair was not even going to be a part of it by the end, and then it still was. I was like, what the fuck?
Fascinating how you could still smell Simba off of that shit fucking hairball.
Yeah, explain that one, Disney. I'll sit there a couple hours of that.
So you see.
Yeah, no, honestly, they probably. Well, I know dogs probably could. I don't know about cats, but yeah, about the length of the movie. I mean, 2 hours is a long movie, and I think there was definitely scenes that were like, I don't know how to put this other than like cuteness fan service, where it was like there was just shots of like baby Simba just rolling around for a while, and you're just like, okay, it is really cute, but like, what's going on? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like
really going for it.
Outside of the dung beetle scene, those were the differences. They just put more shit in it that didn't really matter.
Literally.
Dude, like, so it's a different movie. I'm like, yeah, but not really, because nobody cares about that shit.
They basically copy-pasted the movie, but I don't think they did total justice to the original.
A lot of people were saying that they were upset about a lot of songs not being included from the original. Is that? I haven't seen the original in a while, but I heard that a lot weren't.
I heard Scar's song was like almost completely gone. Like the parts he sung in the new one was like one verse out of like a whole song from the original or something.
It was like 20 seconds long, and he has like a decently long song in there. And like the hyenas didn't even like sing either, did they? I'm not remembering, but they sing in the original, right?
They sung. They didn't have their own parts, but they sung like a little bit of the background. Like they. I don't know what the lyric was in that one, but it was like when Scar was talking about how he would be king. They were saying like just mumbling like the background lyrics of it, kind of thing. But it wasn't. They didn't have solos by any means. But maybe it's because Keegan and Eric Andre can't sing. Who knows? You know.
Well, they fucking let Seth Rogen.
Yeah, that was okay.
You know how I feel about that
cast. John Oliver and Seth Rogen, I think, were the best casted members in this movie.
Dude, Billy Eichner was my favorite as Timon.
He did really
That was like the only different thing it felt like. I loved it.
Timon was the best.
Timon was really good too.
He was awesome.
I think just because you see Seth Rogen and you're like that, yeah, he's a warthog. Like
he sounds so similar to the original too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so does Billy Eichner.
Yeah,
He sounded different enough, I think.
There was some lines he dropped that sounded very, very, very close to the original.
By the way, that man has got some pipes. Hakuna Matata
Dude.
was great. Like he nailed that, I think.
It was good.
So, what do you guys think about the other songs?
I think Donald Glover and Beyonce's version of "Can You Feel the Love Tonight" was fucking amazing. Like that was like, if anything, that was like the reason to see this movie. It was so good.
That was a good one. Yeah.
I hated it.
Why?
Really?
I don't know, just over singing and just Beyonce being Beyonce the way it is. It's like they just really put her voice in the forefront. You could barely even hear Donald Glover. I think that she kind of just oversung it. It's just like, you don't have to fucking. I don't think
She
you have
did go
to
pretty
do that.
crazy.
I don't think you have to do that.
I
And it
mean,
kind of just takes away from it.
yeah, which I think applies to the movie as a whole. Like, you didn't have to do all of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You don't have to
Yeah.
cast the flavors of the month in every category, even though the casting was almost perfect. That's what it is. It's like, let's put all these really, I mean, let's face it, they're good people that everybody loves, and it'll be the Lion King. There's no way we can lose.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
what I was saying after we finished watching Osaka and Jay. It's like, I felt like they just picked their favorite people and was like, hey, you want a bunch of money for doing almost nothing? Like
Yeah.
Hans Zimmer doing the music, like all that music was, wait, didn't he do the original? He might have.
Probably.
Hold on. Let me look it up. But yeah, him, like Jon Favreau, I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know. I don't want to say that
Yeah.
I hated it. I just think that I don't know. It just lacked for me.
okay, he did
It
do the
took-
original.
It took away from the real feeling of it.
I don't know, man. I would have to say, like, isn't that kind of what we crave from Disney? As like these like iconic songs. Like, I mean, look at the remake of Mulan, which, by the way, I'm like really excited for. But there's people saying like, oh, I'm so upset that it's not gonna be a musical kind of thing, and like, because that's what we crave from Disney. So I think the music is like, it's a big part. I mean,
But I think
but she maybe robbed the show a little bit, Beyonce.
I think they have big shoes to fill. If it's not, I don't want to say if it's not exactly, then don't sell it to me. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess if I'm gonna be resold something, then it has to be spot on. Like it has to be pretty right there.
Or different enough, right? To
Or
be
different. Or better.
Can you?
That's
feel
what I'm
the love
saying.
Tonight? It was the freaking afternoon in the scene. What?
That's true.
What is the point of that?
Was it at nighttime? I already forgot.
In the original, it's in the nighttime. In this movie, it's in.
They're like rolling around in the daytime.
It's like in the daytime.
I thought it was at night.
Come
I
on,
already forgot.
the love tonight.
Yesterday.
That's in the lyrics.
I think that's probably one of my favorite was I Just Can't Wait to Be King. I think that one was done well. I don't think that
That one was
like,
done
too
well.
overdone, or like, it was just fun, it was playful.
Because you've got
voice
those like,
actor.
yeah, exactly. Those people that are like not these huge
Right.
stars that everybody's basically gambling on.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
good. Sounded really good.
It was okay. I think that I thought also had bad sound problems. Like it sounded like they were almost
Recording studio.
talking over it or something. I don't know. It just sounded
Yeah.
weird to me. Like they mostly were talking over it, not singing over it.
I see what you're saying. Oh, well, John Oliver for sure was. I mean, his parts in that song, he was just pretty much just talking like in rhythm. But yeah, yeah, it was still my favorite. James, you can't change my mind. I'm sorry.
Oh no,
I guess that's the two sides of the coin, right? People that want it exactly the same, that's what Lion King is, and then people who want him to do something different, and that's Mulan, and people are just mad about both things. Like, you're not going to please
Right.
everyone.
Yeah,
I prefer the different because, like, I've fucking seen this movie before. It was just different voice actors, honestly. That's how it felt after, but I'd rather them try something new if they're going to do it, you know? Like,
But
the original still exists.
What did you feel about like their line deliveries? I felt like Beyonce's line delivery was bad. It was pretty stiff.
Really? I thought it was pretty good for not knowing she could, like, was an
It
actress
felt,
at all.
I don't know, it felt
I don't know if
stiff
she
to
has
me.
been.
I'm kind of in the middle on it. I didn't I'm not really leaning one way or the other. I think she did about as good as I thought she was gonna do for line delivery and for like
Yeah.
voice acting.
So I think my expectations were low because I didn't know that. I don't know if she's been in movies or anything like that before, but I thought it was pretty good for not thinking she would do good at all.
Austin Powers Gold member.
I have
Oh
not
my
seen
god,
that.
she is in that, huh?
Yes, Gold member, yeah. That's a banger, by the way. We need to do that one.
See, I didn't. Yeah, I know everybody loves her and shit like that, but I don't know. I wasn't like very impressed or like disappointed by her, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like she doesn't really have that many lines either to like judge. You know?
Yeah, but like it definitely wasn't like Timon or Pumbaa. They were killing it the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, okay, so I haven't seen the original in a while. Was Rafiki like not as much in this one? I
Oh,
feel like he was more
they butchered
prominent.
my man. They butchered my boy.
I
Yeah,
feel like it was
he didn't
really
he didn't get
similar.
any like of his funny lines or anything. Like,
That's
He
true.
was
They didn't
pretty
really let him
fit.
talk much.
yeah, like, you know, Rafiki was kind of crazy in the original. Like, he was
Mhm.
kind of
He's
like, oh,
insane.
he's weird and crazy. Here he was like this wise fucking, I don't know, this
Mumbling
oracle.
old guy.
Yeah,
Dude, that's true. They did make him too wise. In the original, he is like insane fucking wacko.
But he's
Yeah.
wacky, but he's also very wise. Is it correct me if I'm wrong, but is it Lion King 1, the original, where you know the cloud scene where um Simba's looking up at the stars and Mufasa comes and talks to him? I think like before that, doesn't Rafiki bonk Simba on the head and he was like, "Oh, that hurt." And he's like, "Yes, but it was in the past. It doesn't matter."
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's like crazy wise,
he's
but
super
still-
wise, but he's way more insane.
I loved that, and I don't think they delivered that at all.
That's true. He also didn't pull the staff out till like the end of the movie.
Yeah, and they tried to make it look all epic, and I was like, wait, did we see this already? Like, why is this so significant?
because it wasn't.
Exactly.
It was dumb. And then, like, I don't know, what did you guys think of? I'll go back to like line delivery, like just like some of the iconic lines, like "I killed Mufasa" and "Long live the king." I guess these are both Scar's lines. How do you
Yeah.
feel? How do you feel like he did? Whoever plays Scar.
Yeah, so it was Chiwetel Ejiofor. He was the one who voiced Scar on this one, and I think he did a good job. I liked his voice a lot. Aside from like the quality again in the beginning, and maybe throughout, I think like his voice fits Scar, the current adaptation of Scar.
Yeah, I feel like since I didn't know who he was before, like I didn't recognize his voice, I liked it more because it was just like, oh, that's Scar. That's not like, oh, that's fucking Childish Gambino. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he definitely did a good job at playing a villain. I mean, his voice was kind of like low and kind of deep and kind of menacing, and it was never over the top, and he like never really shouts and stuff like that. So it was kind of this consistent, like, yeah, this dude is scheming the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely didn't go over the top. Which I mean, I know James Earl Jones was the original Mufasa, but there was some times where I'm like, okay, you're pushing a little hard. Obviously
Sounded really old for some reason.
Yeah, obviously, I mean, like, you got the original, like, that's great, but I don't know.
I mean, he's almost 90. The dude is
Jesus.
old.
I'm just saying, I mean, why,
No, but like he like sounded, I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the lion.
we got a
It
new
doesn't
Scar.
sound like the lion that you think is up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He sounds older. He sounds like takes a few seconds to get up, like that whole spiel.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He's also 90, so I guess we can forgive him. But yeah, there was
Well,
times
yeah.
where they really boomed his voice up.
But that is
So-
cool that they still got to include him, you know what I mean? Like, that he was
Yeah.
up for it and they were...
Yeah.
So, what was your guys' favorite scene?
Favorite scene?
I think the scene that got me the most feels was, obviously, the Stampede scene. I think they did that one pretty well. And when Mufasa is dead, and Simba goes and like lays at his side. It was a tearjerker. Like you just I think at that scene it was like, oh, I remember why this movie's sad. Like I remember, you know, like because again, you know how long it's been since I've seen it. It brought that same feeling back. It was the nostalgia kick, which you know, this is a remake from when we were kids, so you know it's gonna be there, and that delivered it.
Yeah, I think the scenes that were, or the shots that were the like ripped from the original, or whatever, like how at the end when Scar is getting eaten by the hyenas and it goes up and it shows it in like the shadow or whatever in the fire.
Yeah.
Like that stuff was my favorite, but it was from the original, so that's probably why. But kind of whack, but I like those parts a lot.
What did you think of the Mufasa face in the clouds? I thought it was pretty sick.
It looked sick.
I don't know. I liked how in the original how his face looked more like prominent, like he was talking to him. I thought that looked really cool. But then in this one, when the lightning struck and then like it like made the outline of his face, that was sick, and it like redeemed it.
Yeah, I'd like that. I'd like that better, maybe.
They definitely walked that line, and I think they went towards more realism for that one for sure, where it was like, we're not going to show you like blatantly his face, and I do think it was a right choice to do that. For how real everything was. So I did enjoy that scene.
I mean, you're talking to a dead person, so I mean,
yeah, right.
And then they ruined the whole scene by plugging that fucking Beyoncé song right after it, just randomly as fuck. And so it's just like, all right, cool, I guess.
My favorite scene was actually the opening scene. Just because you hear that song, it's crazy, it's epic, all the animals are doing all this shit, and you're like, holy fuck, I remember this band being a kid. And then, because I immediately thought, I was like, wow, this is what my dad must have felt like when Marvel movies were coming out. And you see these heroes that you read about in comics on the big screen in real life. I was like, this is kind of similar. I mean, they're both movies, but it's still like this new thing. So it was cool.
Yeah. Did you guys think that? I thought The Rock was going to be bigger. I don't know. I thought it was going to be like more crazy big. But I guess
I thought you were talking about Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
I was like, he was in this?
Yeah, I mean, they paid him a lot of money for. I'm just kidding. He was just there. He was just a flat rock, and they stood on him. And
Dwayne The Rock Johnson, starring as The Rock.
No, I don't know. I thought it was going to be a lot bigger, but then I was like, I guess like if it was any bigger, all the animals really couldn't see them. I don't know, but I just thought it was going to be a lot bigger.
I don't know. I was in row B when I watched it. It was fucking huge.
My favorite scene was just like the father-son moments, like when like Mufasa and Simba are just like wrestling and stuff like that. That's like the feels parts for me.
Yeah, and they kept that really, really tight to the original. It was almost the same shit.
Yeah, when he saves them from the hyenas, that was a great one too.
Yeah, like after he like seems mad, but then he's like, "Nah, you're fine." And like they start messing around and stuff.
Because Zazu is like, you know, you were a rambunctious boy too at one point. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the let's talk about the hyenas for a second. I don't know what it is. I think the hyenas were probably the most cartoony characters in the original movie. You know, like obviously the whole movie is a cartoon, but they like their tongues are like hanging out and they're like just giggling and like, so it was like a little bit weird for me because I knew they couldn't go that cartoony with, you know, the remake, but I don't know. I was just kind of, I felt weird. How'd you guys feel about that?
Dude, it's hard to replace Tommy Chong.
Dude, yeah, Jay was telling me about those originals. I totally forgot.
The giggles and the.
He is so good in that. It gives the hyenas each their own personalities, which for me that was difficult in this movie because Key's got like that specific thing, Eric Andre's got a specific thing, but their things are kind of similar. But in the original, the three are so different. Whoopi Goldberg is this badass running the show. Tommy Chong's there doing, you know, what Tommy Chong does. He's just laughing, having fun, saying shit, whatever. And the other one doesn't even talk. He just like laughs and like is like kind of all goofy eyed. And he seems like just, you know, all over the place.
kind of dumb almost. Like
Yeah, like he's dumb.
Yeah.
They're crazy. Yeah.
And this one, that was hard to get behind. It was like very different hyena landscape.
I will say that there was a lot of jokes that Key and Eric Andre, that their hyenas made that landed for me. But yeah, they were, again, like when they're on camera, I don't know who's Key, I don't know who's Eric Andre, like which hyena is what, like I do by their
Yeah.
voices, but looking at them, they're just all hyenas. Like,
Oh, see, I couldn't even tell
Definitely.
their voices apart. I forgot it was Michael King. What was his name? Michael Key.
Keegan-Michael Key, yeah.
Key Michael Key.
Which is interesting that they didn't have Jordan Peele, because usually there's the
He's
iconic duo.
He's doing better things.
Well,
I know.
I mean,
You've seen Keegan-Michael Key in those insurance commercials and shit.
that new movie's in with John Cena. I'm like, ooh.
oh yeah, dude. The preview for that one. What is it like?
Oh, I've only seen the poster. I don't know.
There's the preview played before Lion King, and it's, oh man, it was hard to watch. The only scenes that were even remotely good were Key's scenes, but it's like Beware of Fire. I can't remember what it's called. Don't Play with Fire, something like that. But it looked really bad. So I guess he's kind of going into these lower budget type of, I don't know.
Some like
to be
insurance
fair,
commercials or something.
it's that or mortgage loans or some shit. But to be fair, he landed Lion King. That's a big deal. Like he's
is,
good.
yeah.
He's good. But he's he's doing this other shit too. It's kind of weird. But both of them did land Toy Story together, so that's something.
That was
Their
cool.
characters were great in Toy Story. I love that.
Yeah, so like I was telling Jay after we watched it, like if it was live action or something, those characters would have been had a lot more chemistry, I think. But like just hearing their voices and like how similar they were, I literally couldn't tell them apart. Like it just did not work for me. The hyenas, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, the jokes were good, but yeah, the voices I couldn't.
There was a scene that specifically kind of bugged me, where it was basically like just total like, I don't know what to even call it, like fan service or like whatever. When Pumbaa and Timon distract the hyenas, and they start to jump into "Be My Guest," the Beauty and the Beast song.
Yeah.
I was like, "Are you serious?" This was Disney going, "Hey guys, remember when we remade Beauty and the Beast? Remember that? We're still cool, right? We got this." They know they're running out of shit.
It
They
was
can't remake
kind
all
of
of it.
funny.
I liked it.
It was funny, but it's like, okay, come on.
But Timon had broken the fourth wall like previously, right? Because he was like, when they were singing Akuna Matata, like he was like, "No, you got to stop singing it because you just gained like 400 pounds in this small walk we just took."
Oh yeah.
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 Oh
As
yeah.
if we literally stayed the same or something.
Yeah.
What,
So
what do
like
you
I don't know, they were a little
movie?
fourth wally.
What song? I haven't.
When Timon and Pumbaa were
He starts speaking French or whatever it is.
Yeah, he's doing the candles lines. What's his name?
I don't know.
That's right.
Luminaire
That's
or whatever.
right.
Luminaire.
He goes,
Yeah,
I guess
Romania.
this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Wow, I haven't. That's another movie I haven't seen in a while. I didn't see the remake either. So
I mean, I get it. It's funny. You're like multiversing it, whatever. But I don't know. I was just like, okay, yeah, let's move on.
Have you guys seen any of the other Disney remakes? Or most of them, or any of them at all?
I've seen The Beauty and the Beast, and that might be it. I don't actually know about all the
that's it.
remake.
I saw
Well,
Aladdin.
you saw Aladdin, didn't you?
Oh, Aladdin, that's right.
Okay, well, I was gonna say we could kind of compare them, but
Oh, I saw Dumbo too. Gee, I've seen a lot of these.
wow, I
Way
haven't.
more than I thought. Dumbo was not that great. It was cast well, but I don't know.
Was the original that good? I was never into that as a kid.
That shit looks scary. Dumbo, fucking those
yeah.
beady
Yeah.
eyes.
I don't know.
mean,
I feel like this one in Aladdin, I went in with such low expectations that they were pretty decent to me because I was not expecting anything out of them.
I
don't know
think
which one
they're
I
the
liked
best
better.
ones. I kind of like Beauty and the Beast, but it was mainly because Emma Watson.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, it's
Christopher
interesting that
Robin
the
was
most
good.
recent ones, then, right?
I don't know if that counts, but what, Adrian?
I mean,
It's
a
interesting
Disney
that the
movie.
most recent ones are the ones that, you know, we're kind of thinking are the best. It's, you know, they're getting better. Because, by the way, to bring it back to Mulan, the trailer for that, I'm like super stoked about. Like, I think they're doing
Oh
it right
yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
It
That's
looks
the only one
cool.
I've been stoked for at all.
So let's talk about that some more about the remakes, and because there's a lot of talk about, you know, are these, well, A, like, are they cash grabs, and B, are the patents expiring and they're just like, all right, guys, let's make another one to kind of renew everything.
So I don't think that second one's true.
But
Because
it's
all these
talked
movies
about
came
that.
out like 20 years ago. Like they're not that old. Like if they came
Yeah.
out in the 20s or 30s, like Pinocchio, like they are making a Pinocchio movie. Like I could see those.
Because how long does a patent last? Is it 50 years? What is it?
It's like 90.
90? Oh my god.
Yeah,
I
Mickey
think it
Mouse runs
depends on the
out.
category.
Mickey Mouse runs out January 1st, 2021, I think.
Oh, okay.
But it's so weird because it's not like Mickey Mouse as a whole because they redesigned him with his red shorts and stuff in like the 80s or 90s.
It's just the sailor one.
Yeah, the sailor one, you can use that however you want. Starting on January 1st, 2021. Like they can't do anything about it, which is hopefully gonna spawn some funny parody shit, making fun
Yeah.
of Disney.
I mean, I'm sure it will. I personally, this is a cash grab. That's why the cast is stacked. It's bulletproof, essentially. And just to spit some numbers out, their budget was 260 million, which is a big budget for a movie that's already been made. And the
Yeah.
box office, as of July 19th, apparently, has already produced $543.6 million.
Yep.
That's free real estate.
They've almost doubled it. They're sitting pretty. There's no problems there. It's
They're
100%
running
a
out though,
cash grab.
dude. I was
They're
looking at the
running
list
out.
of movies. They have like what is it? Little Mermaid. Like the ones they've announced are like the last ones, basically.
That's why I'm saying the Be Our Guest thing was so cheesy, because it's like, remember, look, remember? Because they're running out of shit. What are they going to do after this? They're just trying to get as much as they can, because even they know that Disney has to fall one day.
No. They're just gonna buy everything else, dude. They're just gonna fucking
Yeah, Disney.
acquire
I mean, okay.
currency and buy
Disney
the
as a
world.
company is going to be fine. But Disney as, when you think of Disney as the characters, the stories, all that shit's on the way out.
I don't know,
Sure,
man.
you're going to go and watch all the fucking Spider-Mans and all the shit that they're going to make as Marvel or whatever when it's under Disney, blah, blah, blah. There's going to be like classics. Of course, there'll always be classics and shit like that, but it's all going to fall out.
I mean, look at, okay, I think let's try to expand, because we're all 20 something, mid 20s right now. So let's try to expand that a little bit. And because all of the movies that we've talked about that they're making remakes, we were kids when these came out. And let's look at Frozen, the original Frozen, 2013. Not a ridiculously old movie, but hugely successful. Frozen 2 is coming out soon. I saw the trailer for that. I mean, they're gonna, I don't know, man. I think that there's still a lot more in the chamber for Disney, and I think that they have, I mean, who else would have the means to write these types of movies and to kind of come out with these? I think that there's still a lot to go. And I think when we're in our 50s and we're seeing like, oh, they're remaking Frozen, you know, like
oh, I liked that movie. I'll go take my kid to see that.
right, or like, you know, like 20-year-olds are gonna be like, oh, Frozen, that was a movie that I loved when I was 8, you know? It's just gonna start over, I think.
I get that to some extent, but I don't know. This is what I think. It's like you can, because look how fast they're releasing these movies, dude. They're gassing it up.
That's
They're
what I
like,
was
"Yeah,
gonna
we
say.
gotta go now,"
That's true.
because
That is
even
true.
they are aware of it. Because think about it like this: what we knew as classics in high school, we read shit like Catcher in the Rye, Fahrenheit
Right.
451, all that shit. You think our kids are gonna read that? Hell no, dude. There's going to be newer classics, kind of like what you're saying, newer classics to replace them. Maybe it will be stuff like Frozen, but what do they have besides Frozen? There's not really a lot there anymore. And now we have companies like Pixar that are like, you know what, we're not doing sequels anymore. only original IP. If even one of those takes off, it's gonna soar above them.
Yeah, I mean, okay, like I don't want to sound like I'm defending Disney like too much, but I just think that they have a lot going. Like even just like individual movies, I mean, Finding Nemo, Finding Dory, Inside Out, Moana, Maleficent, Incredibles. Like these are big ticket movies, and I think that these movies were all released within the last 10 years. So I mean, I don't know, man. I don't think they're gassed out yet. And I think they just have too much money to not be able to hire the best fucking writers that are out there.
I mean,
I think he's just saying that they're gassing these remakes because
They
they
are.
blew
They
through
are,
them really
but-
fast, and they easily could have spread them out and threw in like originals in between to try to get those like, oh, we watched The Lion King. Oh, look at this other movie they made. Let's go check it out. And so they just threw them all out.
They're just trying to boost up their streaming services coming out.
Oh God, I don't even want to talk about that.
I kind
I
of believe
can't wait.
that, but I also just
Like they're just gonna have all this new content. This movie just came out, even though it's the same rehash shit. And they're
Dude,
gonna
that's the
make
other thing.
another $300 million a fucking month.
It's
off
like
of fucking Disney shit.
Disney Plus is gonna have the original Lion King. Like, you can have your kid just watch that one. Like, I don't understand why you would want your kid to watch this first. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
There's an interesting thing that I heard. It was actually from he has a Rhett and Link from Good Mythical Morning, just listening to their podcast, Ear Biscuits, and they're talking about remakes. And Rhett said something that I thought was really interesting. He was saying that you shouldn't make a remake if the original wasn't bad. Like, and I kind of can agree with that. Like, for example, Dune. The old Dune, from what I haven't even seen it, but from what I've heard, it's just terrible. And I have friends who are in love with the book. So a remake for that seems necessary. But there's talks about a remake for Back to the Future, and it's like those were great. Like, what's it gonna add, you know? And so it's like, is it the same thing for these Disney remakes? Is like, what are you super adding?
I mean,
It's
that's
just-
why it's a cash grab, dude. It has to be.
It's just a proven, like, what is it? Proven success, I guess. Like,
Yeah, it's because nobody wants to take risks anymore.
Yeah.
On
But
like
they're
real
also,
shit.
I don't know, they're showing like the boundaries that Lion King or like CGI and all the effects and everything can go, you know? They're like, hey, we have
Yeah.
all this badass shit. Check out what this shit would look like today.
Yeah.
That's
you know?
true. But what if they
Lion
remade
King was one
Star
of the
Wars?
craziest fucking movies I
oh,
love.
they will. They will.
What about what, Jay?
If they remade Star Wars,
Oh,
you think they
the
will?
original trilogy?
Dude, yeah, no, for sure. Eventually they will. I don't know how far, but they will for sure.
I don't know if I would even go and see it.
Oh, I would.
Oh, I would.
Dude, you would have to, right? Why the fuck did we watch Lion King? It's like, oh, I want to see what they did to this movie I already like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I also saw that when I was a kid because it came out when I was a kid. Lion King or fucking Star Wars is old as shit.
It's even
I
more of
mean,
a reason to remake it to those
But
people.
it's like such a legendary like movie for movies and for culture and for all that shit. Which
Dude,
is
the
like,
backlash
that's
would
exactly
be
why they remake it.
The
Yeah.
backlash would be fucking crazy, and it would make
The
a
backlash
fuck
would be
ton
Dude, the
of
insane.
people
money,
that would
dude.
hate on it would still go see it.
The
That's the
backlash,
problem.
yes, I agree, Taryn. The backlash would be crazy, as what James said, but the box office would also be crazy. They would still rake
Fuck,
it in.
dude. But doesn't that piss you off on like a soulful
Well, okay,
level?
so let's talk about that because if let's just go back to Mulan really quick. Let's say they re-release Mulan, they put all the original songs in it. I mean, we could talk about Lion King too, but just a movie that hasn't come out yet, and the songs were nowhere near as good because Mulan has the most stacked soundtrack of any Disney movie. Don't at me. But if they butchered all of them, like, does that actually take away from the original? Should it?
No, because it still exists, and it'll by that time it'll be on Disney Plus, instantly available to anyone. Like, I don't know. Like, there'll still be two coexisting things.
I kind of agree with Taryn there.
Well, I don't know, dude. My argument is like a deeper philosophical art argument.
Yeah.
Which
Oh,
is
yeah.
like,
Don't
why do
bastardize
we?
this. Yeah.
Well, not only that, but like, do we suppress the growth of a new thing by constantly regurgitating the old shit?
Yeah.
Why can't we get new shit? That's why I'm behind Pixar. This whole year, they're like, yeah, fuck that. We're gonna stop sequels, new IP for the rest of the time. Let's see how long it lasts, but I'm excited to see it. Nobody is doing it. They're making another fucking Jumanji.
That looks very original, actually.
It's still Jumanji. It's not new IP.
I know. But it's not like a shot-for-shot remake like the fucking Lion King.
Yeah.
That's why I'd rather just have a sequel than a remake, like straight up. I don't know.
I would also agree with this. The sequels or even prequels than a remake for most things.
I think that's
Yeah,
better.
just like add to the world. Don't just remake the world.
Yeah, add to the world so we can eat something new.
I mean, that's the fate of Star Wars right now, right?
That's exactly.
But
yeah, but like
as long as they keep going, I don't know.
Hey, you know what though? I do really like the independent, like Solo, I think was amazing. Rogue One, I really loved. But what are the ones that I didn't like? I can't remember. What's the one where they go to the casino for half the movie?
The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi. That one there was just a lot of pointless shit in that.
Yeah. I like the side things. I don't need to continue these stories that are super old. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's a whole nother fucking podcast.
Yeah, it is.
But just another thing I wanted to bring up that has nothing to do with any of that. Well, I guess it kind of does, maybe. I was just wondering what you guys thought, like, if Disney Animation just made like a 3D remake of The Lion King instead of the CG real life weird stuff. You know what I mean? Like the people who made Zootopia and Big Hero 6 and Frozen, they just made like a 3D really nice fucking like graphics, whatever. Like the environments could look real, but like the characters would be a little more cartoony. Their faces could move more, like all this different stuff.
I mean, it'd be interesting. I don't know.
I don't think it would be like my point would be is what is the incentive to really go watch it? Other than like, okay, yeah, CG is better, but like animated, like really cartoony CG is better, sure. But this one for the Lion King, it was like everyone's calling it, the live action Lion King when it's not live action, but it's so good it looks that way. I think if they didn't have that, what's the real grab for it?
It's the Lion King.
It's just the name.
Sure, we'd still probably go watch it and be recording a podcast.
Oh, I'd actually be excited to see an animated one. I don't know. Like this real life stuff is just really weird to me.
Yeah, it is weird. I mean, like I said, it gave me a headache or something. Something about it felt off.
Yeah, and it goes back to like Jay's like doing it like for an art reason instead of just money. Like I guess is that what you were saying?
That's what he was saying.
Yeah,
because like they remake video games and like they look better and like they play better. Like they're just better that way. I wonder if like they just remade it.
Well,
is that so? It doesn't really hold up because the 2D still, the animation still looks really good.
I think that might be a difference between remake and remastered. Like,
yeah, there you go. That's probably true.
I mean, but the argument is still there. Like, why are you remastering this old ass game? That like Final Fantasy VII.
I bought an Xbox One to play Call of Duty 4 again, and I sold it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, because like you're bringing it to a whole new audience with like modern aesthetics, modern controls in the case of a video game.
Yeah, no bunk ass controls.
But why wouldn't you just make it like, I don't know, able to be played? Why do you have to buy it?
Well, you can. I have Final Fantasy VII on my Switch right now, and like
no, the new
you bought
one.
it.
What?
Or yeah,
what about the new one?
You buy it?
Yeah, I have the old one, but like a kid today is not going to want to play that because of just how it looks. The characters are polygonal messes. Like the combat is really slow. Like The new one, I feel like, will appeal to way more people, and that's what they
Like-
want. They just want more people to play it. You know what I mean?
I get it, but they don't rewrite books. It's
Well,
like,
I mean, because books haven't evolved the way movies and video games and technology has.
I
There's
wonder,
no reason to.
maybe books are just gonna die off. I don't know.
No.
Nobody even reads
Wait,
books
what's
these
a book?
days.
You mean a Kindle?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get you.
I guess it's different, and I understand that they want more people to play it, but at the same time, you can still play the old one if you really want to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can still watch the old, like Disney Plus is going to have both of these. You can still watch the old one if you want to, but then there's also this other one. Like, it's a different, like a reimagining of it, I guess.
Yeah,
Just two versions of the same thing, I guess, is all I'm saying. Which is
is that good? I don't know.
depends, I guess. Like he said, if the first one was bad, then yeah, but in this case, it's not. So
It's just a byproduct of being lazy, I think.
I don't know if it's lazy as much as just being safe. I don't know,
Yeah.
risk averse.
But is that really different than lazy?
I mean, I'm sure there's laziness in there somewhere, but I wouldn't say it's like the main thing.
I mean, I guess the counter to that is also like, well, why would they remake a bad thing? But at the core, it's the same. You're still just remaking something that's already been made.
Yeah. Maybe you didn't have the budget or like something happened during the production of the first one that just made it bad. You know what I mean? Like now you have the resources you want to make your original vision.
Yeah, I guess I could get more behind that than a remake
Yeah.
of something good.
Like if it didn't do it justice, kind of thing. I mean, which that's a whole nother argument. Whether any, like, if we're talking about a remake of like a book, like I mentioned Dune earlier, where I mean, I don't know if you're ever going to get a book and a movie to, or the movie from a book to give it justice in any way, because they're just different mediums.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you can look at a movie that was created from a book and say like, yeah, no, this is just a complete bastardization of what that book was. And I think to remake that maybe is necessary if you have a bigger budget, you have better tech. But
I mean, that's still a tall order for Dune. That's a long book.
yeah,
There's a bunch, aren't there?
There's
He's
also, yeah, the
making-
whole series.
It's 2 movies for the first book.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
Yeah. Alright, so we got any final thoughts about The Lion King 2019?
yeah. I just want to. I feel like a lot of times I've been noticing as we record, we do jump in a lot to what was bad. I think it's just human nature to do that. But there was a lot that I did enjoy about The Lion King. I think that I'm not like super pissed that it was remade, and by any means. And I think it was interesting to see these characters in a new light, in almost like a new medium. And so I did enjoy the movie, and maybe part of it was like the nostalgia kick, but I liked it. I enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
too.
So let's on that note, let's jump right into ratings if that's okay with everyone. All of that being said, I think I would have to give this a solid 7. It was not awful, but it was good. I liked it, so I'm going with a 7.
Yeah, I think, I mean, the core, like, message of the movie is so good, right? Like, the circle of life, all that shit. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And I think that's what impacted me the most, even, especially at the end when they present the new kid. I was like, damn, that's me right now. Like, about to be a father, kind of going through these motions. And then you kind of get, like, the whole picture, and you're like, oh, okay. We're really just going in these cycles that have been going on forever, and the next one's about to start, and like we're just all a part of this thing, and it's kind of cool. It's kind of like easy to relate to right now for me. And I think I'd give it a 7 too. It wasn't awful, and it wasn't the best thing I've ever seen. There's a lot of things I liked. There's a couple things I didn't, but it was overall good.
James?
Yeah, with the core story is decently intact there. I think they just missed out on some of the the whimsicalness. I don't know. Rafiki was really missing out for me.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like some of the lines were delivered stiffly, didn't have a lot of heart, I felt. With that being said, I think it's a 6 out of 10.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's hard because the things that I liked, I was like, oh man, it was funny, all this stuff, and then Jay said he just watched it recently. He said like most of the jokes, like a lot of the dialogue was just exactly the same. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
they
do I like
used a lot
this
of
movie
jokes.
or do I just like the old one? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just really hard for me to like separate this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, the core of the movie is intact, like it's still a good story and everything.
Yeah. I
It's
guess
still the
that's what
Lion
I'm
King.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't remember the kid Simba parts of the movie being that long. I would have not sworn that it was like 60% of the movie or something. I thought it was way shorter.
Yeah,
so
I was
that
like, where is Donald Glover? Like he
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
come on, dude. So that made it drag a lot for me. But the singing was great. I thought, like, obviously, two different things, the original and this one, but I thought the singing was really good. I thought some, like, the shots that were remade from the first one were really cool to see, and, like, this really realistic art style or whatever. I guess I'll give it a 6.7. Is that, we doing points?
Yeah, we'll do points. We'll let it slide this time.
It's kind of like in between the highest and lowest that we have. I don't know. Just none of these Disney remakes have really done anything for me, honestly. Like this and Aladdin are about the same for me. They did some cool things, some bad things, some like whatever things, some why things.
Just wait for Mulan, dude. It's a 10 out of
Yeah,
10.
that's.
Coming up.
I'm excited for that one for sure.
I'm glad they're not doing the music because
Me too.
I just don't
I am
want
too.
them. I don't know. I don't want it to be tarnished, and I guess that's really what set me off about this remake. And I get, yeah, you have all these big, talented stars doing their rendition of it, but I don't need it. I don't need it.
It's also, I don't know, just for me, the reason I'm excited there's no music is just I just feel like all the music in these movies is just so cheesy. It just stops the movie dead, like a dead stop for me. Like it's just like, I don't know, it just feels really weird to me in any of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they were made for kids, and now it's like they're remaking it for kids, kind of, but I would say it's more for the adults.
Yeah.
And I think if they are not doing music in Mulan, that Mulan is like a very adult story, so it could be
Yeah.
really cool.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm curious.
Like the music's still there. Like in the trailer, I guess one of the songs from the original is there, but it's like a nice orchestral version. You know what I mean? Like it still like has its original's roots inside of it. It's not like super different.
Yeah.
No more Mushu, which I think was a lot of people were super pissed about that initially, but I feel like the community has been like, okay, yeah, that actually does make sense to not include Mushu in a live action.
It's like, oh, looking back, yeah, that was a little racist. Whoops.
Yeah, like, okay.
So I guess that does it for us here at Film Fumblers. I'm Taryn.
I'm Adrian.
I'm Jay.
And I'm James, signing off.
We'll see you next time.
Join in next time when we're gonna do the actual Star Wars episode. What did you say last time?
Episode 1.
Join us for Detective Pikachu featuring Star Wars: The Phantom Menace.
That was a bad movie.